It is a great profession. There is a fascination of watching a figment of the imagination emerge through the aid of science to a plan on paper. Then it moves to realization in stone or metal or energy. Then it brings jobs and homes to mankind. Then it elevates the standards of living and adds to the comforts of life. That is the engineer's high privilege. The great liability of the engineer, compared to people of other professions, is that their works are out in the open where all can see them. Their acts, step by step, are in hard substance. They cannot bury their mistakes in the grave like doctors. They cannot argue them into thin air or blame the judge like lawyers. They cannot, like the politicians, screen their shortcomings by blaming their opponents and hope the people will forget. The engineer simply cannot deny they did it. If their works do not work, they are damned. On the other hand, unlike the doctor, the engineer's life is not among the weak. Unlike the soldier, destruction is not their purpose. Unlike the lawyer, quarrels are not their daily bread. To the engineer falls the job of clothing the bare bones of science with life and comfort and hope. No doubt as the years go by, people will forget what engineer did it, if they ever even knew. Or some politician puts his name on it, or they credit it to some promoter who used other people's money. But the engineer themselves looks back at the unending stream of goodness which flows from their success with the satisfaction that few professions may know. And the verdict of their fellow professionals is all the accolade they want.
Just have a seat, we're gonna adjust for a second.
And maybe on the right.
Which is your good side?
Just gonna cut this right here.
Okay.
Well, this is Jeremy Schultz.
So Isaiah here, Isaiah Kingsbury.
This is Erica Cohane.
This is Eric Bean.
This is Mason Meredith.
This is Ashley Bartley.
I'm sitting here with Robin Cooper.
I'm here with Slavko Ivanovic.
This is Rachel Swinson. She is officially senior staff accountant with QK4, but she is actually much more than that. She carries it so much on her shoulders, but makes sure we do everything we have to do to be sustainable. So I thank her for that.
This is Mike Vickers. He's the CFO. He's my guard dog. He goes after the people that aren't behaving.
Tell us, as best as you can, a brief history of QK4.
Oh, Lord. To do what?
Tell me
now?
about the 4 founders of the company and the last 50 years of history, if you can.
Well, you want it?
We're talking about the 4 principles.
I don't know.
I do know that QK4 as a whole used to be a different name. It was Prism, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that right? Presnell, that's it. Yeah, something.
It was founded by David Presnell and a couple of other guys.
David Presnell and, Burkholder. Maybe? No? See, is that bad? Don't put that in there.
They got Presnell.
I don't know his first name. David, maybe. And then Taylor's dad was Glenn. I think he's a founding father. Oh.
Glenn Kelly was one of, right? No? Son of a gun, I'm out.
Anyways, it started 50 years ago by 4 guys.
I need more history lessons.
That's about all I know then. I don't know anything. Maybe we need to do a culture class. Maybe that should be our next town hall. It's the history, the 50 years of QK4. We rolling now?
Oh, we're rolling. We're here. We're here.
Okay.
Yeah, do you remember how y'all met? Talk to each other about it.
Okay. It's a long story.
The year was 1970. The recently completed Watterson Expressway was carrying traffic between Dixie Highway, US 31, and Shelbyville Road, but was already in need of an expansion. Vollmer Associates, a New York-based engineering firm with a remote team in Louisville, was selected to design what would become the Shawnee Expressway from US 31 to the northwest side of the city. A large portion of the design work fell to one of Vollmer's rising stars, Amar Singla.
I started with Vollmer Associates in 1963 as a co-op student. And these guys, because I was just an engineer working, these high honchos, they will go for lunch, some fancy place, and they gave me a sketch of interchange, and this, we want to estimate on them when we come back. So 2 hours later, they come back from big lunch. I say, okay, here's your estimate.
You say, here's my estimate, where's my lunch?
No lunch, I had to eat my own lunch.
An ad in the paper for a transportation planner caught the eye of David Wright, a Louisville native who had been living in Atlanta. David decided to come back to his hometown to join the team designing the now ubiquitous Beltway. In addition to the boilerplate language in the project's scope and contract, a new requirement was included, thanks to the creation of the federal government's newest agency, the EPA.
Prepare an environmental impact statement for the project. That's it. This is 1970. Nobody knew what an environmental impact statement was.
Without any federal standards set in place, the team had to invent their own way of doing things in order to meet the client's needs. As it turned out, this wouldn't be the last time this mindset proved valuable. In 1974, the Shawnee Expressway opened to the public, and from the outside, the project seemed to be a success. But then the financial reports started coming in.
The company sent us down a notice that we had lost money for that fiscal year. And I said, impossible. The Watershed Expressway was a cost-plus job. In other words, the state paid all the costs plus profit.
Looking through the itemized cost report for the project, David quickly realized the problem. The firm's office in New York was recording their own overhead as costs on the expressway project. And not just office space and utilities, but even things like dock space for the company CEO's private yacht. So David brought this information to the attention of his project manager, a man with a reputation for getting things done, David Presnell.
David and I flew up to New York. We sat down and talked to him about it. I said, look, we don't think this is right.
They laid out the financials and requested fair compensation and open books for the Louisville office. And in the event that Vollmer didn't go for that, they had another offer.
If you think we're losing money, we'll buy it from you. Kind of bluntly said that. They didn't have any interest in that at all. They said, well, let's calm down, we'll work out a deal here. And so they made some promises about things they'd do for us in the future. Unfortunately, none of those promises were kept.
Following that meeting, it became clear to both of them that their careers were in jeopardy of being throttled by the leadership in New York, and that didn't sit well with David Presnell. It's at this point that David Presnell's strength as an engineer and a marketer really began to stand out, and he began formulating his exit strategy. In 1972, the Louisville Metropolitan Sewer District had been struggling to keep up with the pace of growth in the city, largely due to a lack of funding and personnel. With billions of dollars in federal funding now available due to the recently passed Clean Water Act, David Presnell saw an opportunity to get ahead of the game. So behind closed doors, without the knowledge of Vollmer executives, the three-man team put together their own group of engineers, lawyers, contractors, and financial advisors, creating their own master plan for the Metropolitan Sewer District and submitted it to MSD unsolicited.
MSD didn't have the staff to do what they wanted to do. Back in those days, MSD only had 3 registered engineers on staff. We were proposing of having a management consultant rather than in-house staff to do a lot of the work. So that's what we put in our proposal.
The plan was an approach that involved leveraging federal funding and using multiple contractors, all managed by a single firm on behalf of the sewer district, alleviating the need for MSD employees to perform all the work. Not long after, MSD sent out their formal request for proposal, and it looked almost identical to Presnell's plan.
We had a pretty good idea we were going to get that job. So we called New York and asked to speak to Mr. Vollmer to discuss how we're going to do this profit sharing one more time. He says, conversation over, you guys are fired.
Go ahead and just tell us where we are, how long you guys have been here.
Sure. We are at our newest location at QK4. This is our latest spot, so we've been here about 2 years.
Well, take us inside and start showing us what you like about this location.
Sure. I can do that. Security. This is the lobby. This is, I guess you could say, the mouth of the office. This is Cindy. She holds down the front of the house here. Anything we need, we can go to her. This is where all the beans get counted. All these drawers right here, beans, nothing but beans. Cash, beans. We're all cash, beans. I've never been in this part of the office before. I have no idea who this is. Michelle Vikers? PE. I never did good in PE. Well, most of the ladies are not here, are they? Nope, everybody's out. So this young child came to us through the co-op program. Typically, we have something set up through the University of Louisville that we do. I've been saying for years, we should start way earlier than that. You know, fresh out of the oven, basically. Not so good at counting the beans, but they will eat them. New employee pop quiz, name all 4 Qs. Go. He's a keeper. So this is my office right here. You know, ergonomically, they take care of us here. We can raise and lower this. As a short king, I appreciate the ability to raise this desk, but it's a little too high. This is our highway department side. These 3 dudes have really been in a common law marriage now for I don't know how many years it's been, but they are 100%. If 3 dudes could be married, it's these 3 dudes right here. Here's a side that I don't go into very often. We got this IKEA lamp happening right here. I imagine this thing's probably $30 or $40 retail. I don't really know what happens down here either. This is Albert's office.
Can you explain to me the organization that's going on here?
In today's world, it's the best way to organize it because you don't have as much space as you used to have. I mean, when I started this, I had a big drafting board. The flat files that you'll see, we used to be able to put, can I walk you to flat files?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Because we were, not good. Not good. They're all empty. So, is that better?
There you go.
Yeah.
So this is civil site over here. This is where all the really sweet people work. This is Janae. I love Janae. She's awesome. Everybody loves Janae. This is Amanda. I love Amanda. Everybody loves Amanda. This dude's all right, I guess. I mean, he's no Amanda, but we'll go down this way. This is our survey department. The man is not here. The man that I really would love to talk about and introduce, but Mr. Taylor Kelly, this is where all the magic happens. Taylor's awesome, but this is where he's at when it's not Friday. Oh, yeah. One day, Cutsinger, this will all be yours. What? We can build that. Typey type, 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 type. Chad, I don't see why we can't double your salary right now. Lower all counters. Toilets, 3 inches lower. Light switches, lower. Ceilings. Nah, leave the ceilings where they're at. He'll be all right. It means a lot to me that you see how much I do around here, and I really appreciate you taking care of me like you do. And when I take over, I'll make sure that we keep you around. No. Don't start crying. Don't start crying. It's okay. It's okay.
After being fired by Vollmer Associates, the three former employees had to move quickly if they wanted to win the MSD contract. With no capital or business assets, David's Wright and Presnell each took out second mortgages on their homes, securing a loan for $40,000, about $250,000 in today's money. On August 24th, 1974, they officially incorporated as Presnell Associates, and soon after, they won the MSD contract.
We immediately rented space in the Vermont American building downtown. We occupied 2 floors of a new building that didn't have the interiors finished yet. We started off with concrete floor, bare walls, no partitions.
Despite these meager beginnings, they knew this was their opportunity to build something that was truly their own.
We got thinking about this. If we're going to do anything different, this is the time to do it.
Presnell Associates' philosophy from the beginning has been always employee-oriented. We all knew that employees are our asset, nothing else. If we don't have good employees, we have nothing. So we had to invest in the employees and take care of all the employees.
It wouldn't take long for the office space to fill up. Word got out about Presnell Associates winning the MSD contract and their employee-first mentality.
Several of the members of Vollmer Associates who worked with us previously said, hey, we want to come work for you guys. So we started hiring those same people, and after the contract was signed, we went from 2 people probably to about 30 right away.
For the next 7 years, Presnell Associates would oversee nearly every aspect of the multi-agency program, from writing grants to designing sewer systems to creating MSD's first official design manual. At every step of the process, David Presnell made sure everything was done to the highest standards and nothing was overlooked.
For years, he read every piece of correspondence that left the office. And if somebody misspelled a word, used a bad language or whatever, he'd mark it up in red and send it back. And that was a standard operating procedure.
Good quality control in place.
David Presnell believed if you surrounded yourself with talented people, took good care of them, and produced high-quality work, then the clients would bring the work to you. In May of 1983, Louisville was hit with a massive downpour. Heavy rains combined with a power outage and insufficient overflow infrastructure led to the flooding of nearly 60 homes in the Penway neighborhood up to their roofline. Dealing with its own political and PR crises, MSD pledged to rebuild the residences on a tight 45-day timeline and reached out to their most trusted partner to pull it off.
MSD called us and said, hey, can you help us get these people back in these houses as soon as possible? We said, sure. So we hired George Vaughn to manage that project as an architect.
George Vaughn rose to the challenge and completed the design and construction of the new houses on time and on budget, further solidifying Presnell Associates' reputation as the go-to firm for Louisville's toughest projects. Seeing his skill as an architect and that he brought with him his own Rolodex of connections, David Presnell asked Vaughn to stay on with the firm and head their architectural division.
The next thing that he did was he got a contract to renovate the 717 West Main Street building. And it was a historic building, so they went through a historic restoration program for us. And then we took George on as a partner and made him another principal in the firm. And then we moved into that building.
George Vaughn was an architect, kind of the redheaded stepchild of the bunch because everybody else, the other 3 were engineers. But he was a genius in his own right. David Presnell knew how to surround himself with good people. The 3 partners, Amar, DW, and George, were all excellent. And he continued to surround himself with good people, layer after layer after layer.
The next 25 years would see the firm grow from its humble beginnings as a 3-man team to a firm that employed and empowered hundreds of talented people, with each new hire opening up new horizons. In 1985, thanks to David Presnell's Cherokee Indian heritage and forward thinking, the firm began work with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, ushering in a new market and relationship that distinguished Presnell Associates even further, working on nationwide projects, developing roadway inventory and management plans for Native American nations in Oklahoma, California, Colorado, New Mexico, and more.
David Presnell had a lot of passion towards his own Native American heritage, which kind of carried over into how we ran things. One thing I learned from him is to be passionate about helping the tribes themselves, whether it's to make them safer, whether it's to, advance their community through infrastructure improvements, through technology, things like that. Everything we do, our goal is to enhance the lives of the people that we serve and their communities.
With each new hire, Presnell Associates was becoming a powerhouse, extending its reach far beyond Kentucky and attracting young talent as well as some of the most respected names in the industry. Glenn Kelly, David Smith, Wendell Wright, and a myriad of other game changers, each with their own unique skill set, all distinguished themselves, further strengthening and diversifying the company. In the year 2000, after nearly 30 years at the helm, David Presnell retired. 2 years later, David Wright and Amar Singla followed suit.
I've been retired for now 22 years, and to look back, it makes me proud.
I think the leadership group there is jumped way ahead of where we were. I think that we left things in good hands.
Despite the firm's diverse and talented team, there was one area of responsibility of which David Presnell retained an outsized role.
In the early days, DP was the rainmaker to some great extent. He brought in a lot of the work.
At the time of the founders retiring, the company was the largest it had ever been in terms of the number of employees and offices. Presnell's departure left the company with an imbalance between the size of its workforce and the ability to acquire work.
It became very apparent to us after that separation that we needed to change and that everybody else who was in leadership at the time needed to step up their game.
The years that followed would be marked by difficult decisions and significant changes to shore up the firm for a bright future. Beginning the work of transition, David Presnell's immediate successor as CEO, Wendell Wright, took the company into the new millennium and ushered in the modern era of the company with a modern name, QK4. Wright made difficult choices to close underperforming profit centers, consolidate the company's portfolio, and build a strong client base for the future. In 2007, Wendell Wright retired, handing the reins over to David Smith, who continued the refining, working closely with CFO Susie Newman to overhaul the company's finances, all while fostering the talents and careers of its staff. While the leadership was working hard to hone QK4's identity and maintain fiscal responsibility, the boots on the ground continued to win contracts for milestone projects like the Kennedy Interchange, the KFC Yum Center, and the Parklands at Floyd's Fork.
Here we go.
Do you remember the first major project you worked on together?
Would have been probably...
Nine! All right, 3, 2, 1.
Did we get a match?
Yes. I think that was right.
You're definitely wrong.
Where?
Just right, ditto.
I don't know. It was one of the NCS ones, I thought.
Oh, I thought crossings.
Okay, that's the correct answer. Yeah.
Waterstone Express and I-71 interchange.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Fiscal year 19 audit.
That's the fiscal year 2021 audit. But this was like your official
So we're
first
still the same
time.
kind of way as the audit.
Tuna? Yeah. Turkey.
SpaghettiOs.
Soup.
Yeah.
One of the two,
Yeah.
right?
All right. It's panini, and he said avocados and
Avocado is, yeah, he's right. Second one.
3, 2, 1.
Tornado Gatorade.
She got
Some
it.
sort of chips.
She got it. Good job.
But the chips that like stay on your fingers specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Double decker PB&J, dude.
But know what to put?
Leftover rice.
Salad.
Cafe
I was
Corner.
gonna say that. That's my place I would
Maybe
go
that's
to.
her second
That's
place.
where I would.
2, 1.
So I eat that
Yep.
100% of the time when I'm in the office.
Leftovers, what did you write?
Burger.
Burger.
Very good. It's okay.
Candy from Colleen in Caitlin's office. I put starve, air, and coffee.
Yes, that's about right. That's about right.
Chad, poor Chad.
I love you, Chad, but you're
Apparently
really
you're
loud.
the number, but me. Because if you're working at your desk.
Yeah, you're not too loud.
I'm loud.
You're not.
I was gonna say Neil. Or me.
Both good answers.
Oh, see, I said me. When I came back into town one time, you said, Lynn, I always know when you're here and not here.
Who are you putting? I was gonna put them both.
I think this one's a non-disclosure.
This definitely does not make the movie.
What's that? Steve Arnold or
Glenn Kelly.
Oh, Glenn Kelly is a good one.
Could be Glenn. It could be Glenn too.
I'm Glenn Kelly. I'm older than dirt. I'm 77 years young. You'll see the flowers next to me here. I married the lady that grew these 55 years ago. Started dating her 63 years ago, plus or minus, at Danville High School. We're high school honeys. Basically been in the highway business starting in 1966, so I've been at it for 58 years now. I retired from the Transportation Cabinet in '92. Loved what I was doing with the Transportation Cabinet. I about reached where I could reach. One of the things that drew me to QK4 was I saw the world moving more to a multidisciplinary effort, to be a firm that just wasn't focused on a single professional component.
In 1996, Kentucky Governor Paul Patton announced a first-of-its-kind project for the Transportation Cabinet, Kentucky Route 67, also known as the Industrial Parkway.
That was probably the first major project that I led at QK4. It was probably our biggest, and certainly the biggest transportation end.
Previous highway projects would contract multiple firms, each with a single discipline to handle various parts of the project. One firm would handle right-of-way, another would conduct environmental impact studies, another would handle design, and so on. For this project, KYTC would hire a single team, QK4, to see the project through from beginning to end. And on top of it all, the timeline would be tighter than any other highway project to date.
The Industrial Parkway, it's a project that went from concept to completion of construction and opened to traffic. That was done in 30 months.
The $98 million project would require cooperation between 5 counties, multiple city, state, and federal agencies, public and private organizations, and the expertise of nearly every department within QK4.
That was probably the greatest team effort that I've been involved with, and the product was impossible to have realized, but it was done.
In 2013, David Smith retired, marking the third shift in leadership in just over a decade. And to replace him, there was one name that was at the top of almost everyone's list.
Glenn Kelly.
Glenn Kelly.
Glenn Kelly.
Glenn Kelly.
Everybody respected Glenn. And when he took over leadership, he had the whole company behind him. He'd already won them over from his years of experience being a manager of the transportation department, doing so many incredible things for the company.
Glenn Kelly's collaborative approach to leadership would continue to build on the work that Wendell Wright and David Smith did to lay a financially stable foundation. But treading water and riding coattails was not exactly Glenn Kelly's style. Or, to put it in his words,
if it ain't broke, improve it. Okay? There's nothing that can't be improved. Okay? Don't never tell me I want to keep things the way they are. And don't never tell me when I ask you why you're doing something, don't never tell me that, because that's the way it's always been done.
Glenn is a big personality, right? He's like that great stuff in a can, you squirt it out and it fills every space. His personality, when he walks in a room, fills that space.
Glenn's definitely hard to miss. He's a one-of-a-kind person.
To suggest that Glenn is often in your face is not doing it justice.
He's famous for close talking and being intense.
And we would have a conversation 6 inches apart.
Two Glens talking to each other. What would it look
All
like?
right. I won't spit.
Don't kiss me.
And don't spit on me.
But he wasn't mean or rude. He was just seeing if you were gonna back down. And he sizes people up, and he's a good judge of personality and character.
Glenn embodies, I think, everything an engineer should be.
Among the biggest improvements Glenn Kelly oversaw was a whole new approach to address the company's marketing shortfall. In this new QK4, every department manager would be an effective marketer, pursuing projects within their profit centers with support from their department team members.
We've been able to spread that responsibility, and now instead of having one king rainmaker and a few other responsible parties, now we've got a small army of marketers, all of them doing their individual part to bring work to the entire company.
It proved to be a significant forward-thinking improvement that encouraged collaboration and fostered accountability between all departments. This approach continues to be a key contributor to QK4's success today.
Leadership to me is just setting the example and getting good people together. Some of us may be better than others of us, but none of us is as good as all of us.
As it turned out, during his time as CEO and well before, Glenn wasn't the only Kelly making a difference on the QK4 team.
I'm Taylor Kelly. I'm a second-generation engineer, and my story is no different than a lot of other engineers who follow in parents' footsteps. Graduated from the University of Kentucky in 1997 and was very adamant that whenever I took a career path that I didn't want to follow directly behind my dad. It was important to me to create my own identity.
After college, Taylor spent 8 years building his own reputation at a competing engineering firm before pivoting to oversee the production of modular homes and assisted living centers.
That was 05 to 09. The housing market crashed, got my tail kicked in the housing market and the modular home thing. And so at that point in time, I was able to push pause and say, okay, here I am, 30 years old. And so I knew at that point I had a career for almost 10 years in the engineering side of things, and it created an opportunity for, hey, if I go back, my dad's now 60. He was a lead project manager for QK4 on really some of the state's most significant projects. How cool would it be for us to have the opportunity to work together? And also, how cool would it be to learn from one of the legends?
So in the summer of 2009, Taylor Kelly joined the QK4 team to do just that, serving notably as a valued team member and growing in responsibility as his father stepped into his tenure in leadership. Glenn was ultimately only CEO for 3 years, but changing things overnight was never his plan. Glenn Kelly knew that changing culture takes time, or to put it in his words again,
most things in this world take place by evolution rather than revolution.
Was it Lido, your name tag?
Yeah.
Lido name tag? There's a story behind that. Yeah, I knew the lava lamp. Space heater. That's funny because I have it. We're not allowed to have space heaters.
Yeah.
I wrote a box of files that I need her to clean out. They've been there for 2 years now.
So the burning scent, I couldn't think of what it was called.
Yeah. It's like sandalwood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he burns little.
Keeps me calm when I get angry.
I didn't know you did that because you got angry.
Yeah,
Now,
it's supposed to keep me calm.
Well, he keeps a possum skull on his truck. So you know whose it is.
Yep.
Communicating only in emails.
It is a pet peeve, like when everybody just sends an email instead of going to talk to somebody.
He wants to be friendly.
No, I want somebody to have to look me in the eyes and tell you why they can or can't do something. All right, you ready for mine?
Yeah.
The same billing manager's making the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I got to talk her off the ledge.
This is the
So
song
building
that
managers,
never ends.
do what Rachel needs you to do.
Ah, he drinks a lot of coffee, and I mean, that's a crappy thing to do.
When the coffee runs out, if you're the last person to take a cup, please fill it back up.
And use 4 scoops.
Yeah, make more coffee and make it strong.
Yeah. Bar for bar.
Eating her food. I have to hide my food. There's some scavengers over there.
Share ever.
Erica, you're trying to write what his is. 3, 2, 1.
Stay on the same topic. People not bringing in food.
People not bringing in food to share.
When I bring my lunch, you brought your lunch only for you.
You don't share the food and you don't bring for anybody else? Really?
He's very smart and he's good at what he does.
Oh, Rob has his own qualities. When it comes to right of way, he is the guru.
I don't know that she admits it as much, but she is a great teacher. She is really good at making suggestions too, you know, on how to change things, critique it, and make it better. But she is a great teacher.
Her presence is very impactful here, but when you're not here, it's noticeable. You keep people in line, but you also keep things funny. You know how to interact with everybody, and it feels pretty easy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He never gets mad or stressed, or, I mean, he might get stressed, but if he is, he's like a duck with his little feet going under the water, and he's just like smooth sailing.
I'll just go in the health room and cry for a little bit. And then, I respect Ashley's commitment to work-life balance. I think that's an important part of being a good employee, is to have that good balance, and I think Ashley does a really good job of that.
I think Jeremy takes his leadership skills for granted. It's almost like you don't want to step on toes, but I think everybody respects you enough till you could step on some more toes.
The dude shows up every day, doesn't complain, puts his nose down, knows exactly what he needs to do, and does it.
Whatever task you give her, she is very dedicated to getting it right and continuing on with it until it is, it is right. And we don't give her, of course she's still young and you don't want to ruin her. So no, we have not given her enough credit for that.
I don't think people see how much Bean truly cares and how many conversations he has individually with each person that go above and beyond a regular manager, and you can just tell in the conversation how much you care.
I think the thing she does more than, I would argue more than anybody, is cares so much about her job. She carries it when she comes in, and even at night when something comes up, she'll go well beyond what she needs to, and I don't think we as a company give her the credit for it as much as we should.
He goes after people.
That's all I'm good for.
You are, because otherwise we get tread on. So you're good at making sure, people hold accounting in their hand and love us and pet us and say, "Oh, accounting's the best people in the world." He goes after them for us, and that's the best part.
It made me cry.
Gonna cry. I almost got a tear out of you.
Almost. He's our big daddy.
You almost got me.
What do you think it would be like if we interviewed Glenn and Taylor Kelly together?
Oh, that'd be great.
They'd probably cry.
There would be a lot of tears.
I think there would be tears.
Oh, Taylor would cry.
Who would cry first?
I think they would both try not to cry first, but it would be a tie, I think.
So how'd your thing this morning go? Do you start talking about people and all that daggone stuff? Man, it got me teared up.
I think for the first half, I held, and that might be a Kelly record.
Yeah.
But I didn't make it much past half, and I'm not certain I made it half.
When you start talking about people you care about, and they got me on family, talking about family and then talking about work, which to me is family too. Forget it. It's a wrap at that point. So in 2013, you hesitantly took over leadership of QK4. You weren't looking to do it.
Yeah, and you can edit or whatever. No, because I'm gonna share some stuff. I'm not gonna get emotional, okay? But some stuff I really didn't realize till we've talked today. Well, when David Smith decided to leave, there wasn't nobody ready, okay? The only person that could ran the company, quite honestly, was Taylor. And I didn't want to screw up. We had somebody else come in from the outside and booger things up, by golly, okay? So I said, well, damn it, I'll do it, okay? And I said, well, I'll do it. I had David Reed took care of all the crap that I didn't want to take care of. And Susie Dubin, whatever, she took care of the financial end of it. I looked at it from way high. Didn't understand a lot of it the way Taylor does. But I never wanted to be CEO. As soon as Taylor got to the point, and it was palatable within an organization and ownership, and that could be done, I got the hell out of Dodge as far as being CEO is concerned. Okay? Because that's something I never wanted to do. And it wasn't family. The family was the QK4 people. It was the culture. That was the family. But to keep the company in the direction it needed to go, that's what needed to be done for that period of time. I never said that to Taylor this whole period of time, but that's the truth of the situation.
In 2016, after 7 years with the company, Taylor Kelly stepped into the role of CEO.
I think that one of the things whenever you're given the opportunity to lead is you really try to focus on positive experiences you've had in the past and then build on those. Here's the things I remember that I still tell our young engineers and anybody we hire is my dad worked really hard, but my dad was always home. And by 7 o'clock at night, every night, you were home. You build real meaningful relationships with everybody, but above all else, you protect the fort. You take care of your family.
More so than any other CEO, Taylor has taken a very personal approach and a very family approach to the management of the company and its diverse staff. And it's a big part of what sets us apart from a lot of the other companies that are competitors of ours.
It's funny, our industry is built for uniformity. It really is. When you think about engineering, you don't want volatility in standards. You want to know that if a bridge is built, it's built because the math works. So the opportunity to differentiate yourself is really where you have to focus, because the way we do work is different. I always say we're not black lines on white pieces of paper. We're relationships.
It's not necessarily how well you can design a road or a bridge. It's a relationship business.
I talked about the housing market kicking my tail, and if you get your tail kicked, you learn what's important, what's really important.
Integrity-based relationships, every hour of every day.
Truly, the only thing that matters is people, is your family, both the people you get to do life with at home and the people you get to do life with at work. That's it. That's the list. That's the only thing that matters.
You hear so many companies talk about this is a second family and this, that, and the other. And I've seen it too where people would come in and somebody would roll their eyes at that, because how many times do you hear that?
QK4 culture. I know it's cliche, but family for sure.
I believe that we actually are a family.
I'm an only child, so any big group of people around is different, has always been different for me. I just think everything about what we do is similar to what I would envision a large family doing.
Two words that come to mind for me are probably respect and trust.
Every job that we do, it might not be here in Kentucky and it might not be in my own community, but it's in somebody's community, and I don't want to go in and do bad work for somebody else's community when I wouldn't want them to come in and do that in mine. So I try to take care of everybody just like they're my neighbor.
No one's blaming anybody for anything. No one's throwing anybody under the bus for anything. Instead, you're picking those people up. You're picking that person up. You're helping them.
It's hard to put in sentences how much I enjoy working there. I think it's more about the people and the team than it is the actual work that I'm doing. I've never been treated so well at any job and actually treated with respect. And it's not even about respect, just being treated good.
One of the biggest things that stood out is how humble each person is. I feel like if you were to take a poll of all of us, it would be like, oh no, so-and-so does all the work for that. And like no one will take credit for what they're doing. But at the end of the day, like obviously we're all playing a part in the big picture, but it's neat that everyone kind of doesn't realize their role in this amazing company.
I think that if there's any firm that has the potential to be around another 50 years, it's this firm.
We really do have the best leadership right now than we've ever had in this company. I think not just the leadership, but I think all of us look out for each other.
We have great leadership. And the fact that they tell us that we're not selling out, we're not going anywhere, we're here for you all and you all only, tells me a lot, because we're in a day and age where companies are selling, big companies are selling. And QK4 seems to be pretty dedicated to this family.
We've created this culture and environment where we don't lead top down. We lead either from a round table or bottom up. So what excites me is continuing to cultivate an environment where we keep getting the younger generation. These folks are bringing idea constantly, one after another. Hey, what if we do this? Can we try this? Heck yeah, let's do it.
One thing that excites me about the QK4 future is the unknown of it, because it can be anything that we want it to be. I know that's not a very specific answer, it just happens to be the reality, because there is no specific answer as far as what QK4 becomes. All I do know is that we maintain our current level of dedication to our employees and our clients, because if you do those two things, then there's nothing that can hold you back.
We will do everything we can to fight for the way we do work. I'll say we got two rocks, two big rocks, that's it. We take care of our people, we take care of our clients. That's it, that's our only metrics. Now, what's that mean as far as revenue, prognostications, and number of clients and everything else? I have no idea, I really don't. We didn't know in 2016 that we were gonna go from 70 people to 155 people, we didn't know. But we knew that if we did things the right way, we would be whatever we needed to be. We want to be the place when it matters the most that our clients call.
One of the things we always push in our business and the partners that we work with is, you know, when the phone rings at the end of the day, are you going to answer the call or are you going to wait till tomorrow? And if it's somebody you like working with, you're going to pick up the phone and find out what's going on and how you can help. I feel that way about QK4, and I know they do that way with me.
So QK4, you know, they're not really a paid consultant for us. They're like a partner.
Finding QK4, it was really an answer to prayer. Lifelong relationships have been built.
With the team that I work with at QK4, they are true partners. Typically, whenever I reach out, they have already got the answer for me ahead of time. Having a relationship like that, yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
We're all only on this world for a very few years, really, when you think about the big picture. And if you can't make an impact in people's lives, then you've just jacked away your time. I mean, how cool is it that our job itself is truly impacting livelihood, whether it's safety, whether it's economic development, whether it's all these different things. That's our job, right? That's what we get to go to do work every single day. And then we get to do it with people we truly care about. If you're not jazzed and fired up about that, you gotta check your pulse.
hopefully the QK4, that this culture, whether it grows, it'll grow and it'll still be a employee-owned company that connects to the community that they're a part of and can make a real difference in the quality of life with the people that they're around. And I don't know what the size of that is, and I don't know what it's going to be. Only thing's for certain is it's going to be a whole lot different than what it is right now. Only thing constant is change.
When I was a student at Georgia Tech, the head of our department, planning department, was on the committee to select the consultant to design the MARTA mass transit system for Atlanta. I can remember being in class, he says, "Here, take a look at this proposal we received from this company who wants to be our engineer for this." They had a big thing on there, 50 years in business. I said, boy, it'd be something to be with a firm and hang around for 50 years. They must know what they're doing. And here we are.
My name is Taylor Kelly. I'm the CEO of the company in title, but I really like to think that I do whatever it takes to support our team. I make it my personal duty to check out everything we have around here to make sure our team has what they need and everything's up to spec so we can knock our jobs out every single day. 3.4 seconds per copy, not gonna work. Rick, we're gonna have this serviced ASAP. Hold on a second. I'm not sure that TV's full 1080p. 640 by... We're gonna have to do this old school. 1, 2, 3. I have a little trick on what I do to test the isolation booth. Free lunch today! Still works.
He does this every Friday. We've never gotten lunch.
At QK4, we talk about how the details matter. I'm here to ensure that every box is checked, every T is crossed, every I is dotted, and that's why I go out to every site that we work on and get down into every detail. 237, 238, 239, 240, 250, 12,192, 12,193. Oh my gosh, Taylor, I gotta start all over. We've been here for 50 years and we're gonna be here for 50 more because we pay attention to every detail on every project. You think anybody's cleaned that toilet in a while? So I tell our team how critical it is, even from the early planning phases of a project, to get into the mindset and be our user. 2031, we're gonna have a road and a bridge here. This is the perfect time to get out here and truly experience what that project's gonna be like. Guys, I will pull this car over. We will head home right now. We will not go. No ice cream, we're done. We're going home. Straighten up, that's what I thought. I can tell you out here, eyes on it, this is gonna be a beautiful bridge. Uber for Kelly? Yeah, great.
Hey, TK.
Hey, man.
Playing some money.
Thanks, you would know.